So hello and welcome to the video. I have made it to 10,000 subscribers blow thing. What? Oh, yes. It's really bonkers to think of that many people being interested in my videos. I'm getting pretty close to having 1 million views as well, which is similarly crazy. To celebrate reaching this milestone, I invited you to send across any questions you may have for a Q&A video I would like to make as part of the celebrations. The weather here in Kent has been completely grim for this last week, so I haven't been able to go out and make that video yet. But one of the questions that was asked was really quite interesting. One of my patrons, Kevin, asked what one thing I would do to make British Airways Executive Club better. When I thought about that question, I immediately came up with 4 things, and with a little extra thought I was up to 6. And as lists of 6 is kind of my thing, a dedicated video beckoned. So here are 6-ish things BA could do to make the Executive Club better. I say ish because I came up with 12 or 13. Hi, I'm Matt. I've lived in... No, wait. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Matt. I've lived in 5 countries on 4 continents. I've flown over 1.4 million miles. I've visited over 100 countries, every American state, but I'm nowhere near done. So subscribe, and you might pick up some hacks, hints and tips to make your next trip better.
So firstly, and this may be a little controversial, I think the British Airways Executive Club is already pretty good. There are a host of features all designed to make the experience better for members. There's household accounts, there's lifetime status, there's the wide network on BA and its One World Airlines that you can earn and spend your Avios on. There's Twofers, there's the opportunity to earn Avios outside of just flying, the recently introduced maternity and paternity leave benefits. The list is long and there's a lot to like already. But the first item on my list is for BA to implement features that already exist in other airlines but which aren't part of the Executive Club. Here's 3. Virgin allows you to earn status points or tier points on redemption flights. Tickets paid for by points. The economics of that are all a little bit complicated, but it obviously works for Virgin and it is a clear differentiator of their product. You're paying for all of your tickets, whether that's by pounds or by points or by a combination. So why wouldn't redemption flights qualify for status? Aegean and other airlines allow you to purchase a very small number of status points each year, not enough to actually get status, but if you find yourself a few points short, it must make sense to be able to buy a few rather than having to take an unnecessary trip somewhere to earn them. And you'd probably be prepared to pay a decent amount for a small number, which would make it economically viable for British Airways. They're not usually shy to create revenue streams, so why wouldn't they do this? And thirdly, Egypt Air allows the person booking and paying for a trip to gather all of the status and reward points for everyone on that booking. So if you travel a lot on business and take your wife and kids with you a couple of times a year on holidays, their achievement of status is probably not a family goal. But you getting their status points could make all the difference to you achieving status. That would make sense to me. Now, my breath is not held on any of those points, but they all obviously work for other airlines, so why not? But there are annoyances to the Executive Club, and point 2 is for BA to not make those annoyances even worse, and to bring back some features who've seen their values eroded in the last few years. 3 subpoints again, and the first is quite an obvious one, which is for them to do something about their website. Indeed, for them to do quite a lot of things about their website. It's hugely buggy anyway. I mean, how often do you go in and find that all of your future bookings have mysteriously disappeared? But there's a lot of really basic stuff you just can't do online, which requires you then to call the already overstretched call centres. There's lots of examples, but you can't book an open jaw redemption online, which is such a basic thing to want to be able to do. The second subpoint is to reinstate the way that gold priority rewards used to be calculated. I've talked about this before, so I won't go into detail here, but this benefit is now almost completely worthless. It's only available to Gold members anyway, so BA has effectively chosen to antagonise its most loyalist of customers. And thirdly, there is a threat hanging over how Avios are earned. Iberia recently changed the basis on which its Avios are earned from distance flown to price paid. BA is reportedly poised to do the same. This would make flying much less rewarding for the majority of us who tend to fly on discounted business class tickets, whilst rewarding those paying full fare who are generally business travellers. BA has the gall to think that this will be welcomed by us all. But as Rob at Head for Points explains far more eloquently than I can, it is likely to drive behaviours in completely the opposite direction to what BA has said it expects. So if anyone from BA is watching this, don't do this and have a close look at Rob's thinking to understand why you shouldn't. I could have included the issue of reward availability in this section, and we would all love for BA to make more reward seats available. Reinstating those gold priority rewards would actually be a step towards achieving this, by the way. But there's already 12 reward seats created on every short-haul flight and 14 created on every long-haul flight. That's 8% of all of the seats on BA's smallest aircraft, and that's something I think surprises people. And additional reward seats are often made available during the course of the flight's booking window. The problem is that lots of routes are popular, so demand radically outstrips that supply. And the people who are getting those seats are planning a year ahead. They're calling up to book 355 days before they travel, which is the point at which the flight is created and the reward seats are therefore available. There's plenty of reward seat availability even over the next couple of months, which is in the peak travel season, but it's often not for the most popular destinations that people are wanting to book. If you're looking for 4 business class reward seats to the Maldives for next month, you're just not going to find them. Indeed, there's probably not any revenue seats available for purchase. So yes, BA could certainly make more reward seats available. That would be welcomed. But I don't think this is worthy of having its own point in this list, because certainly compared to a lot of other airlines, BA is already pretty generous. Point 3 is to allow you to change your membership renewal date. It's automatically allocated to you when you sign up and cannot then be changed. 99% of people won't appreciate the significance of their year-end renewal date when they join the club, but for many of them it can actually be really significant. Lots of couples meet after they've both joined the club and end up with different renewal dates, which can be a right pain. Kids may not end up with the same renewal date as their parents. My year end is August, and as I've explained in a couple of videos now, the sweet spot for renewing your status is the 2 months immediately after the expiry of your membership year, which for me is August and September. But that is right in the middle of the peak summer holiday period in the Northern Hemisphere. That means when I need to renew, I am fighting to find good deals in the peak August and September window. If I'm looking to travel to the United States, that's not necessarily a catastrophe because August is a low month for business travel in the United States, which means good fares have historically been available. Not so much this year, but I think they will return in future years. But this year I'm looking to head east, and it's quite difficult to find good fares in those months, and it's very frustrating to see those fares radically cheaper if I could travel in October or November. If I had the opportunity, I would probably shift my year end to October. So it would be really good to be able to change it, probably not every year, but maybe once every few years, or at least once in the course of your membership. For BA, this would be quite tricky. As we've seen, their IT is abysmal, although if they're working to fix it, which reportedly they are, it might become easier for them to make this change. But if they did allow people to change their year end, it would open up opportunities for people to game the system. You can quite easily change a company's year end, and I know from my previous life that this does open you up to a world of shenanigans. If you could change it just once, that probably wouldn't expose BA to too much risk. So it really ought to be something that you can do, even if you had to lodge a rationale for the change with BA in order for them to approve it before you could do it. Point 4 concerns the BA American Express card, not something that's part of the Executive Club, but many people have it and value it highly, so I'm going to allow it. A 2-for-1 voucher is issued once you've spent £10,000 in your membership year. Once issued, that voucher then lasts for 2 years. I've got quite a long way to go in this year. But if I went absolutely mad and booked a return first-class ticket to Singapore departing tomorrow, firstly, you should petition YouTube to close down my channel because I will have demonstrably gone insane. But it would also mean that I've triggered my Amex voucher immediately. It would then be valid until June 2025, 2 years from now. But if I spent my money much more leisurely and only spent my £10,000 on the last day of my membership year, the voucher issued would then be available until May 2026, which is an entire extra year of validity. So what some people do is they spend £9,990, then put their Amex card in a drawer. They take it back out again on the last week of their membership year, spend a tenner and trigger a reward voucher with the maximum possible validity. This can't be what American Express wants. British Airways probably doesn't care, but it's not helpful for the customer as well, because you're earning 1.5 Avios per pound with this particular Amex card, and you could very well be earning less if you move across to another one to be able to trigger that voucher later on. This could easily be fixed by linking the expiry of the voucher earned to the end of your membership year. So it wouldn't matter when in the year you hit the £10,000, the voucher would expire on the same date regardless. But BA wouldn't like this because it would probably lengthen and increase their contingent liabilities. But Amex would probably love it because it would increase the utilisation of their card. And between those two positions, there's almost certainly going to be a zone of possible agreement which ought to make this possible. Point 5 would be for BA to be more consistent about how you earn tier points. BA's Executive Club has a rule whereby the tier points you earn for a flight steps up if flights are over a certain distance. That distance is 2,000 miles and flights step up from 40 tier points shorter than that to 140 tier points for flights longer than that. That rule holds everywhere in the world except with British Airways. Let's take a look at 4 destinations that are all really quite close to each other. Larnaca is over 2,000 miles from London, so earns 140 tier points, right? Nope, it earns 80, and it's earned 80 for as long as I've known what a tier point is. You might have not expected me to say 80 because the options are 40 or 140, and I'll come back to that. Cairo is further than Larnaca, so should certainly be 140, right? Well, it used to be, but a few years back BA downgraded the route and the equipment that it services that route with, and now it only earns you 80. That was not popular with people who regularly travelled on that route. Tel Aviv is closer than Cairo, so should be 80 tier points as well. Well, no, that's 140, and it is serviced by a long-haul 4-class aircraft. Amman in Jordan, 140? Well, no, that's 80 as well. It used to be 140, but it was downgraded at the same time as Cairo. There was a time when Royal Jordanian, a sister airline in the One World Alliance, serviced that route alongside BA, and you'd earn 80 on BA and 140 on Royal Jordanian. But they've now aligned with BA and you only earn 80 on that route with them as well. Although if you fly to Amsterdam, which is closer than London, you get 140 still, even though that route is often serviced by a narrow-body aircraft, whereas London is serviced by a wide-body. There are reasons behind all of these inconsistencies, not necessarily good reasons, but there are reasons. But it all serves to make things very complicated and unpredictable, which can't be a good thing for members of the Executive Club. There is actually another step up from 140 to 160, which kicks in for flights over 6,000 miles in length. Cape Town is 5,995 miles away from London, so earns you, yes that's right, 160 tier points, not the 140 that the scheme suggests. And I believe BA changes its mind on that route every now and again. Now I know continental drift is a thing, but I doubt Cape Town has moved 5 miles further away or 5 miles closer to London in the last 100,000 years. I mentioned you earned 80 tier points to Larnaca and Cairo, which is neither 40 nor 140, so what's all that about? Well, BA has an intermediate earning bucket that it calls Short Haul Plus, which applies to flights of over 1,000 miles, except for the ones it doesn't. Algiers is over 1,000 miles from London, so earns you 80 tier points, whereas Malaga is further and earns you 40. There's possibly a couple too many examples in there, but the point is that BA really could tidy all of this up to make it much clearer about what you're going to earn. But having said that, the 80 tier point bucket is a very nice thing to have, and I wouldn't want to see that go away. Indeed, I'd love to see it rolled out to other One World members worldwide. And point 6 is what I'm going to call Headstart. I mentioned BA's Gold for Life scheme, whereby if you earn 35,000 tier points over the life of your membership with BA, you'll get Gold for Life. If you earned 1,500 tier points each year, you'd need to do that 23 times to qualify. Before you get to Gold for Life, everyone starts their year equal. You start with 0 tier points if it's your first year of membership, you start with 0 tier points if it's your 20th. It would be great if BA gave you a head start towards renewal based on the number of years that you've previously held Gold status. So if you got, say, 40 tier points for every year you'd previously held Gold, somebody with 20 years of Gold membership who's quite close to being Gold for Life would start their year with 800 tier points, which would make it much easier for them to requalify again. Loyalty programs are about rewarding loyalty, and this would be a great way of achieving that. Now, frequent travellers might argue that the lounges are already jammed with the huge number of people that already have Gold status, so doing something like this would make it easier for people to get to Gold, which would make the place even more crowded. But what you're seeing is people who are still hanging on to Gold based on the extensions they received through the you-know-what. I've had Gold for 3 years now, but only earned 65 tier points over the course of those 3 years. I'd have a lot more tier points if redemption flights qualified. So that lounge pressure is going to ease as people with status extensions drop out, so this wouldn't necessarily make the lounges unmanageable. And it would be a great way of recognising that large number of people who may never make it to Gold for Life status, but who have been very loyal to BA over a very large number of years. So there you go, 6 ways that BA could make the Executive Club better, and the original question asked for suggestions that were actually achievable, and I think all of those are. So thanks for watching, and thanks for the support in getting me to 10,000 subscribers. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it and leave me a comment. What do you think to these suggestions? Check out my Patreon and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.